Hey guys, Mike in the Woods here, and today we're going to do another review. This time in particular, we're doing the Katadyn BeFree water bottle and filter combo. Standard operating procedure, we'll take a look at the pros, the cons, the specifications, and who might get a good use out of it. So before we get into it, please consider leaving a comment down below, hitting subscribe, and dropping a like. Okay, so first, what is the Katadyn BeFree? The Katadyn BeFree is a soft water bottle with a built-in filter. In theory, this means that all you need to do is scoop up untreated water from a water source, like a creek or a pond, screw the lid on, and squeeze the water through the filter. In practice though, be advised that the filter isn't 100% foolproof. It only filters out larger particulate and life forms like protozoa, and is only good for up to 1,000 liters before the filter needs to be replaced. However, not all water is created equal. The nastier the water, the faster it will wear down the filter. Additionally, much like other filters of its type, don't let water freeze inside of it, as this causes damage to the filter and makes it compromised. Now, as long as you're aware of its limitations, there's nothing wrong with that if you use it within its design set of restrictions. I should mention that the Katadyn BeFree comes in 3 bottle sizes: 0.6 liter, 1 liter, and 3 liter. Mine is the 1 liter, so keep that in mind when considering my review. Alright, so let's take a look at the pros and cons, starting with the cons first. Number 1, being a soft water bottle, it's vulnerable to tears and punctures. I personally haven't had it break on me yet, not to jinx it, but that's probably partially because I've been extremely careful with it. Sticks, sharp rocks, and your knife are only a few possible ways to puncture the bottle. If you're carrying it with you while hiking, any accidental bump against something sharp at just the wrong angle might be enough to bust it open. And if the environment doesn't bust it open for you, there have been reports of it popping on its own accord simply from squeezing it, so do keep that in mind. Number 2, it doesn't remove everything dangerous in the water. While it removes larger life forms like protozoa and giardia, it can't remove viruses or chemical contaminants. The likelihood of these things being present in clear, flowing water is admittedly pretty small, but I advise boiling any water from a particularly nasty water source before you consider drinking it. Number 3, if the bottle breaks, you can still use the filter, but it's a pain in the butt. You have to almost completely submerge the lid in water to get the openings of the filter fully submerged. You can also try using any bag full of water if you can hold it tight enough to form an airtight seal around the lid. I advise having alternative methods of water purification just in case your filter or the bottle itself fails. And number 4, the water comes out tasting like plastic, which admittedly is better tasting than probably what's on the other end of the filter at times, and the taste doesn't really bother me, but I know it could be a huge put-off for other people. Now, to balance it out, there's obviously some things that I do like about the filter. So number 1, it's so light and small. It packs down into almost nothing and takes up very little weight. If you're looking for an even lighter alternative than the Sawyer and Smart Water Bottle combination, this might be a winner. When it comes to on-the-go trips like skate packing, backpacking, or bike packing, this is my go-to for water filtration. It's light and small and fast enough to drink from. Sometimes you don't have the time to stop and purify water every time you need some with the more time-intensive methods like boiling or chemical solutions. I keep it on my person while hiking so that I have easy access to it. Number 2, scooping up water from a water source is super fast and easy. With a wide mouth to the bottle, a quick dunk in deep enough water is all it takes most of the time to fill it up most or all of the way. For flatter streams, it might take some finagling, but so far in all of the water sources I've come across, I've been able to make it work. Number 3, the water flow rate is pretty decent. It might take a hot minute to squeeze out enough water for cooking purposes or to refill clean bottles with drinkable water, but it's definitely fast enough for drinking purposes. Although I advise not squeezing too hard on the bottle or you might bust the seams. And number 4, the bottle has markings on it for capacity, letting you know roughly how much water you have left in the bottle. Although make sure to have the bottle fully inflated to get an accurate read. This is useful for applications like cooking, where you may or may not otherwise have unit measurements to make sure you're using the right amount of water, and it also gives you a good indication of how much drinking water you have left and makes it easier to track your consumption. Okay, so we've taken a look at the pros and cons, so let's talk about use cases. who would get a good use out of the Katadyn BeFree water bottle. Honestly, I think it's a great choice for anyone who needs to be mobile and keep their gear list light and small during above freezing temperatures. Even ultralighters, I think, would consider this for a drinking water solution. Potentially even day hikers who would consider putting this in their kit in case of emergency water needs. Personally, I've taken this out on all of my backcountry trips and will continue to do so, including my upcoming skate packing and bike packing trips that will fill out my itinerary for the warmer months of 2020. Paired with some water purification tablets and the tertiary backup of boiling, I think it makes for a great primary water solution. Unfortunately, one primary drawback to the Katadyn, and one I feel might deter a lot of you more budget-conscious people, is that it's quite an expensive water bottle and filter. The 1 liter version that I have clocks in at $60 Canadian, which might be a big no-go to a lot of you out there. Something to keep in mind. Where else I think it falls short, much like any other filter of its type, is in the cold weather, where freezing temperatures can compromise the filter, or front country trips where weight and volume are nowhere near as much of a concern, and you can pretty much just bring in as much water as you need, or a gigantic pot to boil it in. Another fallback of the Katadyn specifically, as opposed to the primary competitor in portable water purification, the Sawyer, is that it's really only compatible with the Katadyn water bottles. I've heard that there's a few others it's compatible with, but I've been unable to confirm that so far, whereas the Sawyer has known compatibility with things like the smart water bottles. Just something to consider. Alright guys, that has been my review of the Katadyn BeFree soft water bottle and filter. Hopefully this has helped you decide if this is the right water solution for you. I'll leave an Amazon affiliate link to the bottle in the description down below, so be sure to check that out or any of the other links if you're interested in helping out the channel. I'll also leave a link to my YouTube playlist of other gear review videos that I've done. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing, as I have a lot of fun and interesting content coming in the pipeline. Also be sure to leave a like and post any thoughts, questions, or concerns down below, as I make sure I read every comment that I get. Thanks for watching guys, I will see you next week. I made it dumb. Enjoy the blooper reel.